Hello, hello. I want to come here from a space. Before I even start teaching, I'm going to walk us through some truths about me so you can walk with me. They say you don't understand a man till you walked a mile in his shoes. So I'm going to take you on a journey back with me, how I built this platform, how I became aligned, my true journey from survival, healing, and choosing not to pass on broken patterns. So this is from a real place, this alignment that we're entering into this season where there are so many things that try to get us distracted and pulled off course, that are pulling on us from many spaces, and we aren't aligned. We aren't emotionally aligned, we aren't physically aligned, we aren't mentally aligned. We are all over the place. So now this is the season where we need to bring everything back together and have clarity and focus, and walk from a whole place where we're not surviving, we're not moving broken patterns forward. We're showing up as the true best version of as ourselves. And I say that when I look back, I know this is when you can be honest about yourself. When you look the best on paper, when everybody thought you had it going on because you looked the best on paper. You were showing up in all of the places as you needed to be, but you were internally navigating from a place of unhealthiness, emotional overwhelm, because you just needed to perform for people. Anybody know what I mean? When you just need to perform for people, where you just need to show up, where you just need to be in the room, no matter how you feel, no matter what's going on with you. When you're miscommunicating in your relationships and leadership, it's looking like a hot mess because you're saying things from an emotional place and you're really not handling the pause like you need to address the real issues that are going on. Carrying on processed childhood grief. And that is something we don't do because we don't deal with the little hurt child inside of us, and that is who ends up making our decisions. We end up leading from a childhood perspective, from an immature emotional mind. And then the hardest truth, and I didn't even realize how much it was costing me, how much this journey was costing me just to be surviving, to be caught up in a survival mentality. And I was hurting the people around me because I was just surviving. And this is what I want for you to understand. When does the shift happen? The shift doesn't happen when you're serving from a hurt place, when you're serving out of anger. One of the most important things people always say, I don't look like what I've been through, but you act like it. So when do you mature and put away the childish mentality, the childish thoughts, those childish emotions that drive you? And this is when you have to take the shift. When you don't feel like you have to give people a piece of your mind. You don't feel like you don't have to have the clap back mentality. You don't feel like you are always running, oh, I'm going to get them on that one for showing me up or for making me feel a certain way. That is when you know you arrived at a different place. And I say that because some of you all are here. Y'all knew me, the old version of me, the clapback version. I'm going to get you version. I'm going to tell you if you ask me. And now, even if you ask me, I know how not to tell you what it is that you're asking me. I can speak from a place of maturity and tell you what you need to know, not what I think about your particular situation. So, on this journey, when you want to be relatable and you want to be powerful in your leadership position, you got to be healed. And so that means you need to be aware of what's going on, aware of the patterns, not just the problems. We can always say, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. But what is it attached to? What makes you continue to do the things that you do? We got to break the patterns. We got to quit stopping making the same jigsaw puzzle over and over and over again and repeating a cycle. The cycle might be good, but it's not what is assigned from us from God. We're not aligning to our spiritual God-given calling because we are all over the place, sometimes doing good, but with good intentions, but we're out here hurting people with our good intentions because we aren't aligned with who we need to be. So start noticing patterns. When you have repeated breakdown in communication, You, for some reason, no matter how much you try to get your point across, people don't understand you. People disconnect from you. Emotional triggers that don't match the moment. What they say, don't have control of your emotions. You just all out there, and people calling you crazy. People calling you unhinged, and then you feel you just tired of dealing with people. That's leadership fatigue. So it's not about the situation. It's about, have you healed so that you have the strength to be able to sustain what you have going on? Because a lot of us have the capability to do more, but we have so much emotional baggage. We don't have room for it. We don't have the capacity for it. So it's cleaning out the things so you can align and be very clear on what the capacity is. So the capacity doesn't break you, and then you're able to sustain what it is that you are to carry. Because we are not supposed to be carrying everybody in our life. Everybody is not meant for us to carry. We're supposed to know where our strengths lies, and most importantly, know where our weaknesses lie, so we don't put so much pressure on our weaknesses that we break. A lot of us are operating more out of our weaknesses to prove to people that we aren't what they said we were. So this is where you have to take ownership after you are aware of your thing. You have to make a decision. Do I keep performing, putting on these acts, standing on the stage, or do I become a whole person? And this is where you introduce your inner child work. And this is one of the things that I love when I meet with clients, whether it's a group, and I'll give you all the exercise right here. I meet with people, and the first thing I ask them is, who are you? Who are you? Whatever your name is, I'm going to say today, who is Courtney? And most of us, we spit out all these labels that people know us as. But now, let's strip away all the labels. Let's strip away all the titles. Let's strip away all the positions. Who are you in character? If somebody described you in 3 words, what would be the top 3 words they described you based on? And now think about, how did you become that? How did you root yourself in those 3 things? And this is where I say, go back and talk to your 12-year-old self. Why do you think that way? Why do you navigate that way? What are the emotions that trigger that way? Have you spent time really understanding how to communicate with people outside of your feelings? They might make you feel some way. They might make you feel hurt. You might feel like they backstabbed you. You might feel like they betrayed you. I've been in all of those situations where I felt that way. And sometimes I even acted because I felt that way. And maybe you moved too fast. You lost an opportunity. You fell out with that person and didn't have a true assessment of the situation. And that is where real emotional intelligence and maturity come in place. Where am I? And this is where you say, I'm owning that I was talking in my feelings. I'm owning that I responded in my feelings. I reacted in my feelings, not based on fact, not based on the situation, not based on us understanding each other, not based on us making the capability to move forward and progress. And if you are in a business, every decision should be made on how can we move forward and progress as a healthy and whole place. Not how can I cut you up, hurt you more just so I can get past this situation. And that is when you have to break survival behaviors, because that is where we are. Get it over with and get it to the next. That's a survival behavior. Not let us come to a resolution where we can work, where we can both be prosperous and progression at the same time. Prosperous progression, because at the same time that we are progressing, I need you to still be a healthy individual. And that is where breaking survival patterns. Surviving is just, I'm showing up in an unhealthy environment that is constantly pressuring me, and I don't have the capability to speak. So I have limits on the progress and the prosperity that I can have in this place. And that's what we're doing. We're removing the limits on the progress and prosperity you can have in a place. And how do you do that? You stop blaming the circumstances and start building within yourself. Yes, most of us have been through something, and that's the key. I want us to get through something, because the problem is a lot of us get stuck in our situations, but we have to move through something. If you can say this, was for my good. This was a situation, not, oh my goodness, all this stuff is just happening to me. No, it's happening for you. It's happening to grow you. It's happening to stretch you. It's happening to see who you are. And no matter what, it pulls out who you are. And sometimes the version that it pulls out is the version that you need to release and never see again. And that is where we're talking about. This alignment starts to happen when you are building from in. And when we think about building from in, we're talking about building from your business from within. We're talking about building your team from within. So it's having that check-in point from within. It should be some type of emotional build that you are doing with people that are connected to you. It should never be all head information. It should never be all logical mental construction. It's great that you can think it out. You are logical. You are strategic. Yeah, I did all of that. But all of that cannot get you out of a situation. Sometimes you have to click into your emotions and say, why are my emotions sticking me here? Because at some point, it hurts to have to push past that emotion and do it again and get up and prove that, yes, it hurts. Maybe it's fearful, but the thing is, on the other side of that thing is success, the place where you want to be, and prosperity and progress, not just movement, prosperity and progress. The key for us is, and I say that in the world that we're going through, there are many layoffs, there are many mergers. And yes, that's the reality of where we are. But the thing is, we have to have an awareness of what's going on, have the capability to own where we are. And then after that, this is where we start building within and we can truly align. All right, now it's time for us to make some clear decisions. Clear decisions about where we want to be, how we want to change, and the work that we want to do with us. Stronger and healthier relationships. What does that mean? Because a lot of times what we have is we have people who are negative around us, who are keeping us in this negative place. So you need people to support the new version of yourself. Get around people for the new version of you, not who you used to be, not who you are, but get around people for the new version of yourself. Get around people who are purpose driven. Purpose driven. They have a purpose and we can move with that purpose. I always believe if you create a vision, you need to have people around you. As the word says, you write a vision and you have heralds. That means you have people who are able to hear your vision and be able to run with your vision. If you don't have people around you who can run with your vision and you have to implement it and execute all by yourself, the question is, are you going to be able to sustain it by yourself? And I've been guilty, having great magnanimous visions, but never incorporated that I needed to have other people with me. And the thing is, you will go further when you allow that to be around you. Strong, healthy relationships, a clear vision, driven leadership. So that's why I'm speaking, my leaders, my HR people. Are you clear what the vision and the culture of your organization is? Are you able to speak it and have everybody in the organization run with you? That is very clear we need to have. And that's why I say this is just not personal. Yeah, sometimes we're bringing our kids and our families into this unalignment. But sadly, if you show up at work, you're bringing your organization into this disalignment with you. So it's this disalignment that's attached to your entire life. The team that you're on, the team that you lead, you have an effect on them. All right, so jumping in part 2. Let's get to the misalignment problem. Now that you dealt with yourself and a little bit of me on this journey of where I knew I came from, a little bit of chaos, a little bit of misalignment. So what is the problem? Misalignments. What are we functioning from, the teams that we are on? All of us sitting at the table, an unhealed emotional pattern, and we bring our cycles. Some of us are on the hamster wheel. Some of us are on the roller coaster. Some of us are on the parachute machine. We have highs, then all of a sudden it yanks us back down low. But whatever it is, we have some patterns that are not leading to productive, progress and prosperity in our lives. We don't have the PPPs. That's what's going on. We don't have productivity, prosperity, and positiveness going on in our lives. So that ultimately creates poor communication habits. We do a lot of assuming instead of getting to the root of the issues. We don't touch people's feelings. We're not feely touchy people. And when I say feely touchy, I don't mean you actually putting your hands on somebody. I'm talking about dealing with the emotions when people actually offend somebody in a meeting. Who steps up when somebody is being offensive, or do we all just laugh and that person is supposed to get over it? Do we not have processes in place to allow people to really be human? Or in this AI world, are we expecting humans to be robotic too? And that is where we have reactive leadership, because they only wait for the bad thing to happen. You're always sitting and waiting for the shoe to fall off the other foot instead of having things in place to make sure that people are being conscious about the emotional aspects of being at work. Do you have those frameworks in place? Whether it's offending women, whether it's offending men, whether it's offending young people, old people, whatever it is, we are offending people at different levels because we don't have those things in place. We don't have leadership that is doing what is needed, is being reactive better versus proactive. And they say, well, why is leadership in place? It's not because the leadership is unqualified. They're qualified to do the job, but not necessarily qualified to deal with the unhealedness, because they're unhealed as well. And as we have seen before, a saying is, hurt people hurt others. And how do we get through that? You meet me where we can get a line and deal with some of this. You meet me where we can get a line. You jump on my website, Courtney Lee Smith, and you meet me with your team. You meet me with your team. How is it just you sit down with your team and we work on this? So what happens with distorted communication? We have an emotional trigger that comes in that we need to recognize. And then we need to activate this hero inside of us. How do we move from reaction to alignment? How do we do that? How do we be intentionally emotional, mature in our response? Let's say that again. How do we be intentionally, emotionally mature in our response? That is key. What I want you to know. How do you do that? How are you intentionally, emotionally mature in your response? It's a lot when you try to say it real fast, y'all. So it's not about my story. This is about the work that I bring to organizations and leadership places. So, of course, today I want you to know that it's not just about me telling you, oh, I've went through this. Oh, I've had this happen to me in my life. I don't ever want you to see me as a victim, because I celebrate it all. I celebrate every loss. I celebrate every drop of blood. I celebrate every sweat, every tear that I've had to drop. I do. I celebrate it, because on the other side of it, I learned something and I gained something. I gained a better respect for other people. I gained better health on this journey. I gained knowledge of understanding the systems that needed to be in place, not just for my emotional welfare, but for others' emotional welfare also. It's not about me. So yeah, we went through this about this journey and how you align, and some of the things that I've went through on the path of how I had to learn, and the people that I needed to reconnect with to help me on this prosperity journey. But the thing is, it's not about my story. How can I offer you these services so I can be a transformation to your vehicle, to your organization, so you can carry on and sustain? Because the key is not that you can build it and you can have people show up and you have a capacity, but the thing is, can you sustain carrying this, and how long? Because are you going to break the team, or are you going to break yourself? So I do want you all to walk on this journey for me, because I do have the solution on how to equip you with emotional intelligence, a communication reset. And when I say emotional intelligence, it's not this go get on a workshop. If that's all you want, jump there. They got plenty of emotional intelligence things that you can show up. We're getting deeper than that. I'm not sending you through an emotional intelligence workshop. We are doing a total communication reset. We're talking about trauma-informed leadership and how to make decisions, because all of us have had some type of trauma that triggers us to respond. So we're talking about leadership development. We're talking about team training on this process, and we're talking about breaking the cycles of the little girl or the little boy within us. How have we learned to speak in those little kids' voices? How do I talk to the little girl within me to quiet her so that she does not come out in my adult life? How do I do that so that at this point I'm able to talk as an adult, but I'm also able to talk healthy to the next generation of young people, because I'm not talking to them only from a perspective of my hurt little person to prevent them from being hurt and not allowing them to live. Sometimes we can imprison somebody with our hurt. How do you talk about cultural transformations in the workplace? How are we adjusting to other entities coming in our space and respecting that? The work doesn't just improve performance, it changes the environment. So I want you to talk about how you can actually have a better prosperity, not performance. How can you profit from changing the environment and culture at your organization? And it all starts, of course, it starts with one. But what fun is it if your whole team does it together and you all learn how to reset and you learn how to do it together? And that becomes a powerful organization. That becomes something that you can sustain. Imagine you are building something and everybody in your organization has the tools to help build, versus you have to wait on just one person to show up with the tools to help everybody else get it together. If everybody got the capability to manage and build and show up with the tools, that's an awesome place to be. So carrying on that, of course, I'm giving you the invitation to reset with me. Our first destination of the aligned journey. The aligned journey has 3 destinations. The first destination is reset. The second one is after reset, we're going to understand what we can sustain. And then thirdly, we're going to reflect. We always got to see how far we've come and how far we still can go. But we always want to have a reflect moment where we can celebrate how we've grown and understand where it is that we're going. So this experience is designed for teams. Yes, it is. If you're an individual, of course, there's a way to get into the space. So like I said, find me on the website, CourtneyLeeSmith.info. So you can join this one-time experience. I'm only doing it this year in 26. So if in your mind you're saying, well, I'll wait till you do this next year, there is not going to be a next. This is a one-time only happening. One time only happening. I will only be doing it where they say one time only. I can't say one night because it's during the daytime. It's on the weekend. It's 3 different Saturdays for one experience, 3 different stops we will be taking, as I told you, the reset, the sustain, and the reflect. Join me, your team. This is a curated experience. It will only happen at this place. There's gonna be nothing cookie cutter, nothing read about it. You will enjoy it. If you have never experienced me before, this will be an experience in itself. I know I am not everybody's cup of tea, but if you like it hot and you like it where it's got a little bit of bite, I am the tea for you. We're going to reset some communication. We're going to rebuild trust. We're going to realign the leadership culture. And this is where your transformation becomes tangible. Something you can hold on to, something you can actually say, I know I've been changed. I know I have grown. I can see the difference in me, and other people can talk about the difference in you. Where you can paint the vision. So this is what happens when a team heals together, what aligned leadership looks like. And that's what the thing is. You want to be able to see those things. The ripple effects across the organization. And the thing is, as you help your organization, you help yourself. So that means it helps your household and it helps your family. So you can run these tools back there as well. So it's not a backwards move. It's not a like, if I go to work, I got my tools together, and when I go home, I slip and slide. No, the thing is, when you get these tools together as a leader, this prepares you to be a leader in all aspects of your life, whether it's a ministry leadership, whether it is leading at home. So this is like, if you a mother and you need to show up as an individual, let me know so you get your household together. This is when you are saying, I am the CEO of my life. And I do high performance things, and I would expect the people on my team to perform as a high performance team. Show up with your team. Now, let me say, there are people like, if you've done some major layoffs and the team that's left, this is for them. If you're going through a major merger and you need your team to learn how to get along and you need to get the different new people together, this is for you. If everybody is just feeling pressed and you have learned, and many people are wearing many hats and the job has changed and there's a lot of pressure and you feel like everybody's getting ready to experience burnout, this is for you. And I say this because we're on the last 10 days. So that means you only have 10 days and there's only 10 seats left. 10 days and only 10 seats left. How about that? 10 days and 10 seats left. So we're going to have a full house. And that's why I'm telling you, I'm not here looking for everyone. I'm looking for people who are ready to stop managing dysfunction. We think it's cute to be dysfunctional because we always say, oh, broken is beautiful, but healed is a lot sexier. So let's get to the sexy place in our life. This is men, women. Get to a sexy place. Start leading with alignment, break cycles, not just hit goals. We can achieve goals. That's not what we're doing. But we're going to get beyond the goal that we've made. What the word says, beyond our imagination. You wrote a goal down, and imagine if you're not broken, you can get beyond your own imagination. Bring your team, secure your spot. Because the thing is, what is it costing you to stay aligned? Out of alignment. And early on when we started this journey, I wanted you all to visualize you all selves as a vehicle, as a car. And every time you try to get off the exit ramp to achieve that goal, your car tugs you back. That's out of alignment because it does not want you to reach that destination. And you got to go get your car line so you don't have to fight with it to get where you're going. How many of you all feel like you're fighting with your team? You're fighting with people around you because you have a miscommunication. You're speaking from a very hurt place. And this is where we are in this world now. We need to learn how to talk to people, treat people as humans, treat people as their whole selves. And if you're here with me on LinkedIn, you see I've posted different articles that I'm involved in. If you've been watching this video, you see at the bottom where an entrepreneur of impact is rolling along, and I need you to vote for me to help me reach more people to have more impact. So the thing is, I'm always asking you for your help. Now, today, I'm telling you, I'm stepping up to help you because the cost of misalignment is higher than the investment to reset. And when you see really the great deal it is for you all to have 8 people show up to 3 different destinations. And when I say destinations, they're not different locations. They're different places that you need to travel in your level of maturity in your life. They're all happening in Atlanta, Georgia. So if you're not in Atlanta and you can't get here within 2 hours, so if you're not more than 120 miles away and you can't bring your team here, talk to me. Send me a DM and we'll figure out a way that I can come to you and bring you a grief-informed leadership lab right to your organization. Bring that grief-informed leadership lab right to your organization. So if you want me to bring it right to you, say, come to me. But If you don't want to go to the website, you don't want to find the link, you want me to send it to you, just DM me the word, put it in the comments, whether you're on YouTube, whether you were watching me on LinkedIn Live, whether somebody sends this link to you, send me a message. Just say reset, and I will send you the link to visit, to be a part, to get access to these last 10 tables on the last 10 days. And I promise you, if it didn't work, I wouldn't be here talking about it. I don't do theory. I do things that I can prove that have changed my life. And I don't mean just change it. I mean changed it for the better, where I'm on positive progress and prosperity. Now, I help others lead from that same place of wholeness, because alignment is not a luxury. It's a responsibility. So are you ready to be the best steward of your life and take on the responsibility? To whom much is given, much is required. So the requirement is first for you to make a commitment to show up for yourself. And then the requirement is, can I be responsible to manage my emotional intelligence so that I am aware of how I am building? Am I building on hurt foundation? How am I building teams? How am I building communication? How am I building relationships? Now let's see how honest you can be about where you are on your journey. And I look forward to seeing you in 10 days.